Me.
What grade would you be applying for? Just
9th grade.
Okay, so I came my junior year, so last year. I've only been there for 2 years. And night, love you. And sorry, I came my junior year, so I didn't go through the freshman experience, I guess. But most of my friends have been there since freshman year, so I can answer as many questions, hopefully, as I can for that. So if you have any questions specifically about freshman year, don't hesitate to ask them.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of you'd be walking out of the main admissions office. This is Pulling Circle. We'll go around it again, but it's a lot of like a few of the main buildings on campus. I live on Pulling Circle. I'll show you my room. Obviously, it's a shaken this year. You can see all the masks and everything. But walking into Harris. So I still don't know why they show this building specifically. It's not very relevant to a lot of people, but it's the freshman boys dorm. We'll go into a girls dorm later, so you can see kind of more what a girls dorm would look like. But so the way dorming, it's like as freshman year, everyone lives in freshman dorms. So there's one freshman girl and one freshman boys dorm, and you all live with people in your grade, and then that's a common room. And then after that, you're mixed with sophomore, juniors, and seniors, and so you're just kind of put in random dorms after that. This is the only year where you're all together to get you to kind of bond. I think that's the main purpose for it. So this is what a single would look like. It's pretty rare to have a single your first year, your freshman year. But if you need it for any reason specifically, you can request it and they can make that work. Usually it's doubles. There might be like a double with a day student bed. So day students all have a bed on campus. They can stay if they want to. It might be a triple if it's a bigger room. It really depends. They're mostly doubles though. So this is coming back out of Harris. This white building on the left, that's a dorm. Upperclassmen one. I lived there last year, my first year. We'll come back around it again and I can explain a little bit more in terms of dorm life. But under Abbott and under Harris, that's the language center. So you can take, I think it's Spanish, French, Latin, or Mandarin. And there's language credit. I think it's for 3 years of language credit. I had been taking Mandarin at my old school up until I came here, but wanted to kind of do something else. So I started taking Spanish. So I'm in my second year of Spanish right now. Spanish 2 as a senior, which isn't the most common thing, but you can pretty much try anything. They have this policy in the language center where you can't speak English in it. So they teach language in a kind of different way where instead of sitting down and teaching you like the grammar and the translation, you get a vocab list. They just kind of speak to you in that language and you just slowly start to pick it up, which I've learned so much more in 2 years of Spanish than I did in 6 years of Mandarin, which at first I was kind of annoyed that I was just constantly being spoken to in a language I didn't understand, but it works out. And so we're walking towards Mask now, which is the math and science building, but you can see kind of down there a little bit is the zoo, which I'll explain it more when we walk past, but there's a zoo. You can work there for your community service, or you'll end up maybe not going to the zoo in your entire 4 years. It's really up to you however much you want to go or how big of a part you want to make it of your experience at Millbrook. So this is the Math and Science Center. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Math and science classrooms. There's some people walking in. So there's all these taxidermy animals, which are kind of weird. I think they were donated by alumni or something, but there's a bear in the middle when you walk in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like a tradition to stroke the bear every time you walk past it. I think I've only done it twice, but it's pretty soft. And yeah, so in terms of science, there grade-wide classes, required classes, which freshman year would be physics, sophomore chemistry, and junior biology. And then your senior year, there's tons of electives you can choose from, or you can go into like advanced levels of each of those classes, whatever you want to do. You have a lot more freedom there. But I don't really mind having, like my junior year, I took biology with my entire grade. There's obviously honors in each level if you want, but it's nice to kind of be able to know that like anyone else is doing the same work as you are. This is the biology classroom. Usually all the desks are set up in kind of a U shape. It's kind of cheesy. I'm supposed to say it though, like everyone's in the front row. Or everyone's in the back row, however you want to see it, but you can basically, like if there's a lecture style going on, like there's no really hiding from it. Obviously now it's changed around because of COVID, so they try to space everyone out. But all the science classrooms have that kind of lecture desks in the front and a lab in the back. So you can kind of go between the two kind of styles of teaching, the styles of class, every science class you have. Here's another science, science classroom. I have a biology class in here this year. I think right now we can see they like rearrange the chairs in that class into more of a circle shape to try to accommodate with COVID. Um, Also, you can see to the right they have made use of a lot more outdoor spaces this year to try to, when it was nice outside, have classes outside as much as possible so we can be spread out and enjoy the fresh air and try to take advantage of that. Yeah, there's the zoo down there. So again, it could be your community service. You could be assigned an animal, work there, go feed it every day. You could use it for classes. A lot of biology classes use it. So you can like look at the animal you're studying, the behavior you're studying. Um, yeah, or you can just go down there if you're bored, however much you want to make it. So now we're going around the back of Abbott. Sorry, the back of Abbott, which we walked past the front. So this was my dorm last year. I pause it here usually to kind of explain what the dorm setup is like in a lot of dorms. So you can see those like two houses on the side, on the right and left. Those are faculty houses. So in every dorm, there's dorm parents, which are teachers who kind of work in the dorm. And then there's usually, I would say, 2 to 3 dorm parents living in each dorm as well. So they aren't in the dorm. Their houses are attached to the dorm. They have a door that kind of opens all the time. They live there with their families. It's kind of just like I guess the more technical reasoning for this is that there's kind of an adult on hand anytime you need it, or there's like, say there's like an emergency in the middle of the night, you can go and get a faculty member, so you don't have to handle everything on your own. But I also think it's nice to have kind of a family living nearby. It's more of like reminds you of being home. Like Mrs. Allen, who lives on the left, she would have like, if you needed it, she would like invite individual students over for family dinners with her 3 daughters, or I don't know what else. Like every birthday, she would have a couple students come over and like decorate cupcakes and bring them out for the birthday person, whoever it is. Or it's nice. It's nice to just have someone there as kind of a stand-in parent while you're at school. And then in the middle here, those where all the dorms are, the actual dorm rooms. Yeah, so that's kind of how I just describe Abbott. I like to because I know it best, but most all the dorms have people living in them, as in teachers living in the dorms. And then going under Abbott, out here, I think it's a Spanish classroom outside. It was much nicer out than it is now, and we had a lot of classes outside. Um, yeah. And then right now, are you interested in art at all?
I want to try theater and
Yeah.
piano.
Nice. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I am horrible at art, kind of both, like actual visual art and performing arts. But a lot of people I know will take like art classes, like drawing and painting, or I don't know, studio art, just to kind of have it as like a break in their schedule, as something nice, and to like fill a requirement. And a lot of people will enjoy it because it's just something fun in the middle of all your academic classes. But I also know like the same, if not more, people who take it as something really seriously, or they start at their freshman year and then end up really enjoying it and end up like making a portfolio for colleges at the end of their high school career. It's really, again, kind of like a zoo, however much you want to make it. This is a drawing and painting class as well. And in terms of performing arts, there's lots of classes and electives you can take. Like there's improv, everyone loves. There's like public speaking, I guess, is a performing arts, but kind of playwriting, things like that, where you can take electives, so it can actually be in your schedule for credit. Or of course, there's like the play and musical, which you could do whenever they're running that, which I know a lot of people who are involved in. Yeah, so we'll go in the theater later and you can kind of see that. I guess that's more applicable to theater. But right now we're going into the gallery, which is a gallery space that is used for many different things. It's whether it's faculty art, sometimes there's outside artist or student art. It's kind of switched up every couple months. Right now, it's a Black Lives Matter gallery that was put together over the summer by a few students who one of like the head of the art department contacted them, and they put together this gallery of photographs from the protests over the spring and summer, and of like from photos, their favorite photos from Black photographers. So they kind of collected, narrowed it down, and then wrote little like descriptions and studied the photographers, talked to the photographers, and put together this gallery that opened at the beginning of the school year. And it's been a really nice space for many classes have used it for discussions. There's been forums on it. They've had a lot of photographers come and speak about their work and their experiences. So we've used those galleries for lots of different things, but that one was a particularly impactful one, especially after this summer. Yeah, it's also fun when there's a gallery opening. it's in a normal world when like people come, they have fancy food out to go and get in the middle of your study hall, and walk around with your friends. Yeah, here's the theater. Um, Obviously for your plays and musicals, performances. It's also used mainly by most people for assemblies. We have them on Mondays and Fridays. Sorry, I'm throwing a lot at you. We have them on Mondays and Fridays. And it's kind of where everyone, it's different now because of COVID, but we do them on Zoom now. But usually everyone gathers in the theater or the chapel. They're run by students, people called prefects, who are seniors who run them. They're very student run. Like there's section of them called temperature check, where they basically say like, does anyone have any stories, concerns, or appreciations they just want to share, and like, and anyone and everyone kind of gets up and shares something. And they're fun as well. I kind of miss having them in person, but that's mainly what the theater would be used for, if not your performing arts. But I think there's an improv class in there right now, which is a lot of people's favorite classes. They just say it's really fun. But yeah, that's the theater. And then here's a little montage. There's something called Arts Night, where people just perform and everyone comes and watches. Their drawing class. It's a bit of B-roll. Yeah. There's Arts Night again. Dance, we'll go into the dance studio later, but that can either be like a class or an after-school thing you do. Yeah. And now this is downstairs. This is the photography studio. A lot of people do photography. Either it's something that they take it really seriously by the end, or just kind of a fun thing to do as well in terms of an art class. I never did photography, but like for example, like if one of your friends has a photo shoot or a project they're doing, they'll get people to model. So I've done that a lot, which is fun. In like the middle of study hall, you can go and kind of mess around in the photo studio with your friends. This is not related to art, but the teacher in the kind of burgundy, I guess, top, that's my advisor. So I'd like to talk about a little bit of advisory here. Her name is Miss McRae. She's the head of the art department. And as I said, I'm horrible at art. Like, no part of me indicated any of that on my application, but they matched me with Miss McRae. Everyone gets an advisor when they come in. It's usually like, I would say 5 to 8, if not 3 to 8 students in each advisory. And it seems random, but it's not the placement. They do it very strategically. I don't know what the process is, but they match you with an advisor. And they're, I mean, exactly what the term indicates. They're supposed to be there to kind of help you with anything, especially when you're new, transitioning to being a new student, to being at boarding school, everything that comes with that. And then after that, just to kind of help guide you through everything else, Miss McRae has been my absolute savior. I didn't advise her at my old school, but it kind of wasn't anything more than like scheduling or my classes or anything like that. But Miss McRae, I don't know how she does everything for me. Basically, I'm horribly unorganized, and she makes sure I get things done. Makes sure I get things done. With like college applications, for example, which are stressful, obviously, but like this semester specifically, I came to a point where I just wasn't writing any essays, and she like picked me up, got me out of soccer practice, and they took me to her house, and her and her husband cooked me dinner, and I just sat on the porch and just wrote like all of my essays in record time and just had them like done and my application's over with. And that was super helpful. Or like if it's one of my friend's birthday or something, she'll go and pick up a pizza for us and bring it back, and or if I like need something from the grocery store, just need to get off campus, she'll drive me wherever I want to go. So and of course, like if you don't vibe with your advisor anyway, you can switch. And really just whatever works best for you in the advisory program, they'll deal with, which was nice. This is a dance studio. They have these silks up, which I did that for one of my after school sports, I guess, which was super hard. It's really difficult. I was horrible at it, but it was really fun. I did it with my friends. Here's the pottery studio, ceramic studio. There's Miss Harris, ceramic teacher. And then coming out of here, there's just some more. All the artwork or photos are all student art around there, which is fun to like see your friends' work. Do you have any questions at all about that?
I wanted to ask about advisor. Is it the same advisor for both years for you, or every year you have different advisor?
Yeah. So typically, or the way it's set up, it's supposed to be the advisory. You're the same advisor from freshman to senior year, however long you're there. But again, like if after your first year there, either you don't get along with your advisor, you have another teacher that you're particularly close to. At the end of every year, you can fill out a little request form saying if either you want to stay with your advisor, if you want to change, and to who you want to change to, and they can make that work. You obviously have to say why and everything. But like I know people who have gotten along great with their advisor, but just had like a dorm pair or something that they're super close to and just think they work better with them, and they switch, and then they're with them for the next 3 years. So, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So this, you can see the turf, but we're walking to Schoolhouse now, which is more classrooms, typically the English and history classrooms. And English and history, similar to science, there's the same freshman, sophomore, and junior year, the same classes for everyone. And then when you get to your senior year, there's a lot more leeway in terms of taking different electives or really specifying what you want to study and who with. Yeah. And so this is Schoolhouse Lobby. A lot of people like to just come and do work down here. There was Jason doing work. And here's just one of the classes this year. I think it's a history class. And you can see, I think it's all sophomores, I think. And then if we go upstairs, I think. It's more Schoolhouse Lobby. The Schoolhouse Lobby was just renovated a couple years ago, and they're working on renovating next summer, I think, the top of Schoolhouse. So it'll all look kind of more modern. These stairs get super slippery when it snows, just a warning. Here is Schoolhouse Lobby, which, again, is a place where a lot of people just like to come and hang out or do work. If you're a junior or senior, you come here during study hall. There's my friend Marilee doing work. And then walking down here. So usually if I were giving you a tour in person, I would track down Mr. Castellano, who's the headmaster, usually in his office here. And you can just he just likes to talk to all the people on tours and just introduce himself and whatnot. So they've tried to kind of simulate that here with a little thing from him. It's a little bit awkward. Let me know if you can't hear it, but just kind of bear with it. So this is his office.
Oh, well, hello there. Under normal circumstances, you would come to my door and I'd welcome you to my office. We'd spend a few minutes together, have a chance to get to know you a little bit. But as we know, these are not normal circumstances. Still, I'm delighted for the chance to say welcome, that you're here for a virtual tour of Millbrook, and that you're getting to know our school. I look forward to getting to know you through the admissions process as I would in normal times. In the meantime, don't hesitate to be in touch with me, dcasertano@millbrook.org. And always remember this, roll Stangs. Good luck.
So that's Mr. Casertano. I'm glad it worked. Sometimes the audio doesn't work and I have to speak over it and just try to guess what he's saying. And I've seen it enough times to be able to recite that, but there's Mr. Casertano. Like you said, like his door literally is always open. Super friendly, knows everyone's name, knows where everyone's from and everything. And now upstairs is the library here. Last year, I don't really do this as much, but in a freeze, I would come here a lot of the time and just do my work because sometimes I just cannot do work in my room. So if I had like an essay or something to write, I'd come here and just do it, just try to do as much of it as I could in my free. Otherwise, though, like during study hall, after your freshman year, you can go to the library, and it's more of a social scene. You can like do projects with your friends or homework with your friends if you need their help, which again is nice if like everyone's taking the same science class or history class, they're all doing the same work, so you can do it with them. And then going in here, this actually used to be English offices, but this year they turned it into a classroom, and it's huge. I have my English class up here. But besides classrooms, they've been using the space for something called Studers, which is student tutors, abbreviated, but it's basically every Wednesday night during study hall they have it. They hold it in here. There's different tutors. For example, I'm a tutor in the writing center, so I'll go if I'm on duty, and you can just kind of go and get help from your peers or other people taking the same classes or people who have taken the same classes, which it's a lot more. Not that meeting with the teachers is formal, but it's nice to kind of get your friends help on things sometimes, especially if people have done it before. If you're writing an essay and you go to a senior who's taken your class and they've written the same essay as you, it's really helpful to get their insight on it and to get their guidance as well. So back down, this is schoolhouse lobby again. Very comfortable couches. And yeah. So now going out here, this is the quad, which is another main area for a lot of buildings, mostly dorms and schoolhouse. That white building there, we'll walk past it again, but that is the freshman girls dorm, Clark, so you would live there for first year. The quad's really nice, especially when it's warm out. Everyone kind of hangs out here after classes or, after dinner until we have to go back to our dorms. It was super nice, especially this year, because we couldn't go in each other's dorms and hang out as much. So it was nice to have this same outdoor space where things are kind of normal. Everyone usually plays spike ball, which I'm horrible at. So I just kind of watch, listen to music, hang out with your friends. And especially if you live on the quad in one of these dorms, you can be sitting in your room and look outside and see your friend outside and just run out and meet them. So it's a super central place, which I like. There's Clark, that big white building there, which is all freshmen. It's recently renovated, actually. It's been freshman girls dorm for a while, but it's all new this year. Here is the chapel. So Millbrook is non-denominational, which means that there's not you don't have to go to services or anything, but it's mostly used for a meeting space. We have Monday assemblies in here. We have something called chapel talks, which every Thursday anyone can give a chapel talk. It sounds religious, but it's not. It's you can give it on anything, whether it's students, faculty, teachers, really anyone. They can give it, get up there for 15 minutes, tell a story, or write a speech or anything, and everyone comes and watches it in their formal wear, and then we go to something called formal dinner, which is a formal dinner. You're kind of in the dining hall, matched up to random tables with random people, and everyone's in kind of nice clothing. There's you'll have to be a waiter. Everyone has to be a waiter at least once, and kind of serve the table, which don't worry if you break a glass or something. Everyone does it before they graduate. I dropped a whole tray of glasses once, and it was not pretty, but yeah, that's the chapel. And this, we walked past this earlier, this is Case, which is a boys' upperclassmen dorm, one of the bigger ones. It's a very athletic dorm, lots of hockey and lacrosse. But here is the common room, just to kind of show you what another common room might look like. This one's quite big, but yeah, just couches, TV, microwave, kind of standard for all the common rooms. And this is out the back of Case. So are there any sports or anything you're particularly interested in?
I want to try volleyball.
Nice. So you can kind of see here, that's the main turf, which is I don't know, lacrosse, soccer, all that. There's tennis courts down there. There's more soccer fields in the back. Lots of green space. I keep saying this sounds like I'm terrible at everything, but I'm very unathletic. But everyone has to do something in the afternoon, whether it's a team sport or it could be the musical or the play or something. Everyone has to do something. So what I've done, JV soccer, which was funny. It was 30 girls who were absolutely terrible at soccer, just kind of running around hopelessly. But it was super fun. It was nice to just be on a team and get that experience. I did JV hockey, which when I'm telling you I can't even skate, I really can't skate. So again, kind of same situation. But however, I know a lot of people on varsity teams, they love it obviously because they love the sport, or whether it's JV teams and they love it because they love being bad at the sport. Everyone just loves being on the team, and there's different levels of everything, no matter how seriously you want to take a particular sport. I have a lot of friends who do volleyball, actually, and it's nice. I'll show you the gym, but it's either in the gym, or if it's nice outside, they'll use a lot of the outdoor space to practice. Yeah, and there's also athletic equivalents, they call it, where if you don't want to do a team sport, they have strength and conditioning, which is the perfect segue. I'm showing you the gym now, which is kind of a more structured workout after school every day. There's Julia and Jeannie in the hall. But here's a gym, which is always open whenever you want to use it, or if you don't. But again, it's always open for anyone to go into. I used to go a lot during my freeze because I like going when no one else is there. But yeah, it's weird. I always like to say boarding school is kind of running on the treadmill, and you just turn around and your English teacher's running next to you, and you have a question about an essay, you can ask them while you're working out with them, which is weird to a lot of people, but that's kind of what it's like, and you just get used to it. And then going out here, there's the gym, obviously, basketball, volleyball, just practices, whatever. It's also always open. It's nice because obviously you're living on campus, so the campus is your home, so everything's kind of open to you, just like it would be in your house whenever you want to use it or practice or just hang out. You can see there's always people playing basketball in there. I'm sorry, excuse me. And there's a girls' women's basketball game last year, obviously, when everyone could be together and not wear masks. And then up here, I like the space up here because you can kind of like walk around and watch all the games without having to go down anywhere. And I think we're going to the squash courts next, which I'm from London, so before coming here, I literally never even given squash a second of thought ever, but it's really big here, especially in boarding schools in New England. But a lot of my friends play it. Again, they have I think they have a fourths team, a thirds team, a JV team, and a varsity team because so many people do it, ranging from fourths just being absolutely terrible at it, and varsity is actually really good. And for example, I know a lot of people who just pick it up when they get there. They just start it for the first time because it is pretty easy to pick up and learn from what I've gathered. And I have a friend who started on JV on the bottom of the ladder for the first time ever, and now she's almost at the top of the ladder in varsity, and she loves it. But yeah, there's a hockey game, I believe. Yeah, hockey again. Never watched a hockey game before coming to Millbrook, and now I think they're wildly entertaining to watch. Yeah, there's the ice rink. In the spring, they convert it into indoor tennis courts, obviously because there's no hockey or anything. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of random things you can do instead of team sports.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you just skate on the ice, not play hockey, but just ice skate, I guess?
Yeah, so they have something on the weekends, almost every weekend in the winter, called free skates, where it's just open to anyone. Everyone, you can go with your friends and kind of skate around and hang out. I also think I'm pretty sure you can go there anytime during the day when you're allowed to if you just want to skate by yourself. But free skates are mainly a social thing that a lot of people do, where everyone's skating. It's funny to watch people kind of wipe out on the ice. You can kind of sit on the side, or you can skate. You can borrow one. There's skates by the rink all the time. Also, if you don't have your own, if you just want to borrow them and use them. So yeah. Short answer to that is yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
So now this is West, which is the girls' dorm, an upperclassmen girls' dorm. It's the newest one, so not that it's the nicest, because I don't want to make it seem like the other ones aren't nice, but it is they all look different, but it is on the nicer end of dorms. It's from here to where we started in Mask is the longest you're ever going to have to walk during the day. And everyone who lives in West complains about having to walk all the way to Mask, which is just dramatic. It's 5 minutes if you're 7 minutes if you're walking slowly, walking all the way. So you're never going to have to walk that far. There's a ton of space on campus beyond the buildings, but in terms of classes, I never leave my dorm more than 3 minutes before class starts, and I always get there on time. So this is West. I think there's 2 common rooms in West. So again, this is upperclassmen, so sophomore, junior, and senior. It's quite nice. There's the first common room, and then going up, there's a second one on top, I think. Yeah, but again, the standard couches, TV, I think, is upstairs, but just a gathering space. There's always going to be someone in the common room. If you're sitting in your room and you're bored, you can just go and hang out with people. Yeah. So study hall, I know I keep referencing it, but every day, or every weekday, I guess, every school night from 8 to 10, we have study hall, which is basically you're just supposed to be doing work. You have to be doing work. There's different privileges you have, depending on how old and what grade you're in. Freshman year, I think you have to be in your room. And then sophomore year, I think it changes. By your senior year, you have a lot more freedom of where you can go during study hall. But I honestly think it sounds a bit dreadful to have to sit in your room for 2 hours straight and do work. But I honestly think it's nice because for the rest of the day, you don't have oh, I should be doing work right now, I should be doing work, because you have those 2 hours where everyone else is doing work, so you're not really missing out on anything. Quick pause in that. This is a room. So Sophie was actually supposed to giving you the tour. This is her younger sister, Scout. This is a standard double in West. They're quite big. Yeah. In terms of roommates, freshman year, I think it'll be a random roommate, but then after that, you can fill out a roommate request sheet once you've made your friends and know who you might want to live with, and they really try to work with that as much as they can. Yeah, that was West. For a little bit more about dorm living, I guess, there's different student leaders that are in each dorm, so which you have to apply for. They're peer counselors, so in each dorm, I think there's 2 to 3, depending how big the dorm is. And basically, peer counselors are what they sound like. They're there for support, I guess, especially either being a freshman or being new. It's super helpful to have like just a student who's confidential, you can really talk to about anything, who they're trained for, but honestly, their main job is to just kind of be your friend. Like when I was new last year, I mean, it's hard being new for anyone, but for the first couple weeks, I talked to my peer counselor a lot. She became one of my better friends at school, and and then now I'm a peer counselor. And then there's dorm leaders who are a bit more of the rule enforcing ones, I guess. I think they're less fun than peer counselors. But in each dorm, again, there's 2 to 3, and there's students who are in charge of like checking in for study hall, making sure everything's just going smoothly in the dorm, doing lights and everything, which is when you have to be in your room. Um, what else? I mean, that's pretty much it. And then there's obviously the dorm parents who are faculty. Yeah. Do you have any questions about dorms at all or living?
Where you doing laundry?
Oh yeah. So there's laundry machines in every dorm. So there's 2 options. You can either pay for the laundry service, which I think picks up every Wednesday and then gets it back to you either Friday or Monday, maybe. Which is like it covers a ton of boarding schools in the area, but it's like professional laundry and dry cleaning. Or you can do your own laundry, which in each dorm there's, I mean, it depends on the dorm, but there's a bunch of laundry machines, so you can pretty much do anytime. I'm pretty bad at leaving it to the last minute, but now I know how to do my own laundry, which I guess is helpful for college. Yeah.
Thank you.
So now we're back on the quad. And this building we're coming up on, that's Guest, which is another upperclassmen girls dorm. And like I said, they're all really different. So obviously this one is a lot smaller, but they have bigger rooms. So it'll be like 3 to 4 people in each room. Every room has its own bathroom, but it is a lot smaller. So there's like, I would say there's only 15 girls in West. Sorry, not in West, in Guest. So it's a very different vibe to West or any other, or Abbott even, but everyone enjoys it in their own way. Yeah. And then this building, this big white one, this is Clark, the freshman girls dorm. As I said, I think they like gutted it and put like new dressers, new desks and everything. I had a friend who worked with maintenance over the summer who was sending me lots of videos of it, and it looks pretty nice on the inside now, especially compared to as it was last year or in previous years. But yeah, again, so all freshman girls live in this. I hear lots of stories and everything. It's of like, again, freshman girls sit on the step usually, but lots of stories of like how nice it was to be with your grade for that first year and be able to like become friends with all. It's really only like 40 girls or maybe even 30 in your grade, and then for the rest of your 3 years there, 4 years there, you'll really like be close to your grade and know them, and then also be able to mix with other grades, which I think is nice. Yeah, this is the admissions office, which you would have been in for your interview or whatever, where you would have started. Yeah, that's pretty much the quad. And then, yeah, you can see like when it's nice out, everyone really takes advantage of it. In your freeze or between classes, you're obviously free to go back to your room, nap, do whatever, hang out in your room. Or you can a lot of people just choose to kind of stay outside and hang out with people. Especially now with COVID, we can really only be outside. But it's nice to have so much space, so much green space, if you do have to be outside or if you want to be outside. And now we're back on the pulling circle, which is where we kind of walked out of in the beginning. But this big white building is the barn, which I guess the technical term is a student center. It's kind of just like a place to hang out with your friends. It's pretty much always open. You'll see the inside. There's a snack bar, which has everything you can imagine. I spend way too much money there, but it's nice to have a place to get snacks anytime you want. Like between classes, I'll go here with my friends and hang out, or like before or after dinner, really anything. There's like obviously tons of chairs. The college counseling office is very conveniently placed right in the middle of it. It's not an accident. They put it there so they can kind of like, if anyone's hanging out and they need them for something, you can go and grab them. Or like if you're hanging out and you have a question for your college counselor, you can go in there. It's pretty accessible. Not that it's really relevant to you right now, and it shouldn't be, but in terms of college counseling, you get assigned a college counselor specifically to you your junior year, and they kind of start things in the beginning of your junior year, and it obviously picks up speed as it goes. And I think it's been super helpful. My college counselor, she actually lived in my dorm, which was nice, but sorry, I'll pause it here. But they're really helpful. They pay a lot of attention to students individually, which I think is nice. And I think it's an added plus of living on campus is that you always have access to your college counselors at any time for any questions, which there are a lot of, but it's honestly been a super smooth process, and I'm pretty glad the way it worked out. So, yeah. Switching gears, this is the top of the barn. Couches, ping pong tables, pools. There's a TV room. Yeah, just more kind of hangout space. Outside your dorms, you can mingle with other people. Yeah, it's pretty fun. And that's the barn. Yeah, here's the TV room. Again, the space is like really strictly for students. Like you can come here with your friends, really do anything you want. It's not very. If you're a senior, you can come here during study hall, which is nice if you don't have that much work, or if you want to like work with a friend or something. Yeah. Now we're back out on Pulling Circle. This construction yard, they'll pan to it in a second. There you go. They're building a new counseling office, I think, so it'll definitely be done by the time you get there, but they've been working on that all year. So right outside my room, I live in this like brick building with the ivy on it, which hasn't been the most pleasant thing at 7 a.m, but it gets me out of bed, so that's helpful. That's Pulling House, which is Mr. Castrotano, who you met earlier. That's his house. It's right there. Again, the door is always open. If you can't find him in your office, he's most likely there if you need anything from him. Yeah. And now we're going into, I guess it's called prom, but this building here, which is the dining hall, as well as my dorm, which is on top. Yeah. My dorm, so for the past 80 years, I think, since prom became a dorm, it's been a boys' dorm and a small one. But this year, you'll see in the back, they built a temporary dorm for boys, but it became a girls' dorm, and they kind of asked for volunteers for whoever wanted to be in it. So I ended up being placed in prom as a peer counselor with 13 of my friends, really only my best friends from school, and it's been super fun. We all have singles. It's just living with all my favorite people, so that's been really nice. And it's right above the dining hall. There's Fonji playing the piano. It's right above the dining hall. Don't have to leave to go get food. It's right above the mail room. I get a ton of packages. Don't have to leave to go get packages. So if prom is still a girls' dorm, I recommend it for after freshman year. Yeah. Out there in that little space, sorry, I'm talking too much. Out there in that little space, the dining hall will sometimes use it if it's nice out for barbecues or something, if to kind of switch up the pace a little bit, change up the pace. Yeah, but otherwise, this is the main dining hall. The tables have been rearranged. You can see, so they're spaced out. So for COVID purposes, that's me walking obnoxiously down for the camera. And yeah, so open for pretty much all day, 3 meals a day. Obviously, you're living there. I was never a huge breakfast person, but now that I live right above, I come down for breakfast every morning. It gets me awake, it gets me up in the mornings. But otherwise, this is where you come in and get your food. There's always a little salad bar you can see. There's for dinner every day. There's pizza if you want it, and then there's obviously the hot food option. So there's lots of variety. I think it's pretty good, honestly, for school food. There's me again with my water. And yeah, and then coming out the back here, they extended this outdoor seating specifically for this year, but I'm hoping they'll keep it because it's quite nice out here. But you can see the farm back there, which is a farm. Obviously, not all of the food, but most of the fresh produce comes from the farm. And then quickly before, in the back, you can see that looks like trailers. They actually turned that into a boys' dorm this year to spread people out. So that's now called Farmhouse, which is new. Don't know how long it'll stay there, but jealous of them. They have all new appliances. They have heat, temperature control in there. It's quite bougie for a trailer, but they have that as new dorms. And then so for the farm, for community service, everyone has to do community service. There's tons of them, but 2 of the bigger ones are in the farm and the zoo, which you'll do a little crush sheet of what you might want to do before you come to school, but either working in the farm during community service blocks, that could be maintenance or actually farming, picking the food that everyone's eating, which I think is cool, or at the zoo, which I described earlier. There's tons of things. There's dog walking for the faculty members, babysitting for the faculty kids, yearbook, there's recycling. I did something called Literacy Connections, which was ESL tutoring for some kids who live in the area. I'm trying to think of what else there's. Lots and lots of things to choose from. Yeah, and that's the dining hall. Long hallway, long walk down the hallway. Usually it's... Sorry?
Do you have requirement for community service requirement for graduation, or it's for fun only?
Yeah, so everyone every year has to do community service. So everyone's doing it basically. It's the concept that like everyone is working for the community or not working for it, but has a part in the community. So and not only is it like a fulfillment for graduation, but it's a requirement for everyone for all 4 years. But there's like you can change it every year, and there's a ton to choose from. It's also like worked into your schedule, so like between classes, we'll have a community service block where everyone goes to their community services. So it's no extra time outside of class schedules.
Do you have,
That was the help center. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you have classes on Saturday or no?
Actually, we don't anymore. We used to. They changed it this year, so we don't have classes, but kind of later in the day, if there's any other requirements, we might have like for sophomores, there's something called human development class, which is actually run by peer counselors. It's only 45 minutes, but like that's on Saturday. College counseling will use it for if they have like information they need to give people, but there's no more classes on Saturday, which is nice.
Is it
coming at the right time.
Is it possible to do community service on Saturday?
Yeah, there actually is. So there's a community service block on Saturdays as well. So everyone goes to it. It really also depends on the community service. So when they'll meet, like some meet every block and some only meet every Tuesday or something. Like it depends. And for like babysitting, obviously you don't do it during the day. You'll like in the nighttime if teachers are going out on a little date, you can go and babysit their kids in the evening. Yeah. And yeah. Do you have any? That's pretty much it. Do you have any other questions? After all that, sorry, I threw a lot at you.
Thank you so much for the tour.
Thank you.
It's really like we walk everywhere and every corner.
Yeah, they tried their best. Yeah, I wish you could go and see it. Maybe you can later, but that's the best I could do for now. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really have anything else, but I went. So I don't know if I described this. I'm gonna talk about myself a little bit. I live in London, and I have for like the past 10 years. And I just kind of randomly decided to go to boarding school one day and looked at a bunch of them and ended up going to Millbrook for my junior year. It was fully supposed to just be like a 1 year thing, just kind of 1 year away from home. But I had the best time. I mean, obviously it was hard at first. It was the complete opposite of living in London. It's hard being new anywhere, but I loved it. And I'm still there, obviously. Don't ever want to leave. And I wish I had gone my freshman year like you are. But I would just say I think you would love it. And if you have any questions at all, you have my email. You also have Sophie's if for whatever reason you want to ask her. But like whether it's tomorrow or like months from now, you can ask me anything. And I have pretty much nothing to do, so I'll respond pretty quickly.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you are an international student.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And but how many? No, the main entry is 9th grade, right?
Yeah. So I would say for like. It's usually between 9th and 10th grade. The way it works is like each year it increases in number in terms of the class size. So I would say there's like 50 to 60 freshmen, obviously all new, and then I would say maybe 30, 20 people maybe come sophomore year. So the main entry is freshman year, yeah. But there's always new students no matter what year you're in. Yeah.
And so you took a break and come back.
Yeah. So right now we had break. We left right before Thanksgiving for kind of our break, and then between Thanksgiving and Christmas we had some remote learning. But we're going back on the 22nd, so in about a week.
Oh, you are not now in the country. You're home.
No, yeah, I'm in London right now.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were on the campus.
No, I'm in London. I wish this is what my room looked like now. So I'll be going back on the 22nd.
Okay, yeah. And then you're gonna stay in the quarantine, like for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
But where are you going to spend that time? 2 weeks?
So the way they're doing it this semester is everyone is quarantining for, I think we're doing 5 days in our rooms, like full quarantine. We're staying in our room. Okay. And then for 9 days after that, so it's a full 2 weeks, we're going to classes and then coming straight back to our rooms. So that makes it for like 2 weeks of quarantine. And they've been doing like random testing every week with like random group of people. And we all did like testing upon entry and everything. And last semester they only had one case. It was in the second day of school, so it was from off campus. And then the rest of the time we had no cases. So hopefully it'll go the same way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But wait, it's too late already.
It's like 10:40. I have bad habit of staying up anyway. So I would just be sitting on my bed watching TV. So this is much more productive.
It's cool to have a tour in USA from London.
Yeah, I know. It's a little international perspective. Yeah. Okay. Where do you guys live?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for
Yeah,
giving
no
us a tour. I got to learn more
Oh.
about Millbrook.
Yeah, no worries at all. It was my pleasure.
And you applying for college where? In USA?
In the USA, yeah. So all my applications are in. I won't hear back for a little while, but yeah, that's all in the USA.
And how many counselors school has, like?
Yeah, in terms of like international. People?
No. Because how many
Oh, counselor.
graduates? Yeah, I just want to.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So I think there's 4 college counselors, and they
And all 4 helps with college applications.
yeah. So
But
your
how
junior
many
year they
graduate?
match. Sorry.
How many graduates every year?
I mean, everyone graduates. I think the graduating class is usually around 100 people.
Oh.
Yeah, but
But they start working with seniors.
yeah, so they
already.
start early. They start your junior year and they match you with a college counselor. They do it like based on what you might be interested in. It's not random. It's very much like who they think you'd work best with. And the whole like college counseling team works together, but you have one you're assigned to for like specific meetings or whatever, and they like know you and they know what colleges you're looking at and everything. And they're super helpful. Yeah.
But you did not take SAT yet.
I took an ACT in 2019, so before everything kind of shut down. So I ended up using that score, but most people I knew didn't take it. But they held some tests on our campus just for Millbrook people, which if you wanted to take it, you could. So that was nice. I ended up not taking that one, but there was the option if we needed to. Yeah.
But how long does it last? You told it took until 2019. How long you can use it? Like for 5 years?
You can use it, yeah. Like whenever you took it, if you like the score, you can use it when you apply. Yeah. So there's not really like an expiration date, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can also like take it as many times as you want to. But I ended up only taking it once.
Okay.
And what colleges are you looking for?
I applied to. I really want to go to Georgetown, and I applied early, but I got deferred, so I'm gonna try again for regular. What else? There's I applied to UVA, UNC, Vanderbilt, a ton of places actually, a lot of them, but they're all done. They're all sent in, thank God. So now I'm just waiting to hear back.
But you also have application January 15th, right?
All of mine were for January 1st, so luckily I'm done with it. Yeah.
Okay.
For now, done for now.
Okay, good luck with all your.
Thank you. Good luck to you as well. Great. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Have a good day.
Good night already. Что не даешь поговорить так интересно?